This is the week 4 lecture about job analysis and competency profiling for HRMT19014. And we're going to be talking today about job analysis and how important that is when you're looking to recruit and select appropriate applicants. So what is job analysis? Let's get a definition of that before we start. Job analysis is undertaken prior to developing the position descriptions and person specification for the role, and is built on identifying the skills and attributes of the required role. Job analysis can be seen as the foundation that all other human resource activities are based on. So it's really crucial to get right, really important to understand the role that you're recruiting for, and to have a position description and person specification in place for that role is going to be very, very helpful to providing a great recruitment outcome. So what does job analysis involve? Well, job analysis and job design are crucial determinants of employee recruitment, selection and performance, and ultimately organisational effectiveness. And it flows from the strategic documents that we talked about in prior weeks, and it's informed by those strategic documents and the goals of the organisation, such as their mission statement, vision statement, values, and any other strategic planning documents that they have produced. It has to be responsive to changes in structures, strategies, employee skills and competencies, abilities, employment relations and economic situation. It also has to be responsive to legal requirements of statutes, both state and federal. If they change, then obviously that's going to impact job analysis. Job analysis is the main source of information about the position to be filled. So what are the tasks? You need to ask yourself, what are the tasks, processes and procedures and work activities of the position? These questions are asked of a HR professional to themselves to get a good understanding of the actual role that they're recruiting for. And you need to also have an eye on the attitudes and behaviours that are required for the position that's available, and what physical, mental, social demands are the requirements of the position. So if you're looking to recruit someone who's going to be actively involved in sales and talking to a lot of strangers, then you're going to have someone who's comfortable doing that and has the right mental attitude for producing sales, and knows how to ask for the sale and knows how to complete the sale. If you don't have that skill level, the person selected is not going to be a positive contribution to the organisation and achieve that comparative advantage that's required. So continuing on, performance aspects and outcomes for the position. What standards and measures are to be used is an important question to ask. What are the rosters and reward system to be used? What is the physical environment of the position? What are the personal requirements, education, training, skills, competencies, experience, and personal qualities that are required from the successful person appointed to the role? Another question to ask is travel for the position necessary? Further going on, you could ask, what are the tasks and responsibilities involved? These need to be recorded and put on the job description, on the position description. When is a job considered to be complete? Is it a contracted job? Is it a permanent job? Is it ongoing and continuing? What are the outcomes expected? So how will you be measured? What KPIs will be used? Where is the job carried out? How does the job holder actually perform the job? Why is the job necessary to the organisation? You could ask yourself if it could be combined with another role to save money for the organisation and make the HR more effective. Under what conditions will they be working physically, emotionally and psychologically? How do we keep them safe while they're doing that? And are they up to the task of performing those elements of the job? All necessary questions that you have to go through and ask in order to complete the job analysis section for recruitment. So the purpose of job analysis is to determine the resulting position description and person specification, which will form the basis for all initial employment of staff, establishment of KPIs, key performance indicators, and their subsequent measurement. The grade and pay scale will also need to be considered, training requirements established so that certain skill levels are preset. This diagram is a great diagram from Chapter 4, which is a necessary element of reading this week. There's about 20 pages that you'll have to go over, and it does provide some examples of position descriptions and job specifications. So what's important here? Well, remuneration, performance management, education and development, job evaluation, recruitment and selection, occupational health, safety and wellness. They all feed into that previous slide and provide aspects of job analysis. All right, so processes of job analysis, you've got to observe the incumbent doing the job. That would be very helpful for you to develop the position description and person specification. Look at diaries or logs that have to be completed as part of the person specification. Checklist or questionnaires completed by the incumbent. Have a focus group of those involved that are most depend on that position, and make sure that that focus group of, say, 5, 7, 20 people all get a chance to have their say about exactly what the right recruiting strategy is and the right person specification for the job. Then you could do interviews with groups and individuals in order to find out more about the job analysis and answer those questions in the previous slides. So let's have a look in detail at the position description now. It's sometimes also called a role and goal statement, and it's the practical outcome from job analysis, from that step. So the position description has an outcome of the job analysis. It's based on accurate information about the current role. It represents part of the virtual contracts of employment, so it will be an important integral element of the contract for the position. It's crucial to selecting the right candidate, and standard formats are beneficial for a larger organisation. So constructing a position description, you'll need the job title and identification, so how you identify the position, and sometimes a coding system is used for that. You'll need a summary statement of what the position is about, detailed tasks and responsibilities, expected outcomes with both qualitative and quantitative measures involved. Physical, emotional and psychological working conditions will need to be part of the position description. Direct and indirect work relationships, so how they relate to other members of the team, and conditions of employment including location, remuneration and any benefits associated with the position, all detailed in a document called the position description. So the person specification, position descriptions specify the requirements of the position, whereas the person specification details the qualities and competencies needed to successfully perform the job now and into the future. So here you'll have to determine exactly what the person is like who will be successful in the role, what skills, what training they have, what attitudes they should share with the rest of the organisation. And finally, what's really important here is their expectations and how their expectations are managed around salary and pay scale. Person specification, it details the qualities or competencies needed to successfully perform the job now and into the future. Essential and desirable, it's very important to have this step done, a person specification. And important sort of traps that happen or can happen is that unnecessary qualifications are listed, and this can limit your applicant pool and create motivational problems for overqualified employees. So ANZ SCO can assist. This is the Australian New Zealand Standard Classification of Occupations. Possibly if you've been filling out a tax return recently, it will ask you to nominate a role that you perform to generate most of your income. That's based on the ANZ SCO system. And it's a classification system. It's used regularly by HR professionals, and it can also provide detailed position descriptions using standardized expressions. It's very helpful if you're developing position descriptions. So it has skill-based classifications of over 100 distinct occupational categories, and you can actually utilize these distinct occupational categories to form your position description. Job redesign. Now, this is an important aspect of recruiting and selecting the right candidate. Possibly the job that is available or vacant could be redesigned or incorporated with another role or expanded to provide that comparative or competitive advantage that's so important in HR, that makes HR best practice. So job analysis examines the content of jobs, and the position description clearly sets out this information under topic headings. Job redesign techniques actively attempt to rearrange tasks and duties to make jobs both more meaningful for employees and more efficient. So we're really looking at the person who's successful to the role, appointed to the role, and making sure that they're going to be motivated in the role, that there's necessary variation in the role to provide for motivational aspects that are important, and making sure that the person's going to be comfortable in the role and successful and productive. So job redesign may include job simplification, job enlargement, job enrichment, or job rotation. So if we look at these 4 factors, we may be able to make the position more attractive to a candidate pool, make it more desirable as a job to complete within an organisation. Enrichment, rotation, enlargement and simplification achieve all these ends. So there has been some criticisms with job analysis in the past that we need to be aware of, and the research in this area, I encourage you to seek that out using Discover It. This course is a 30-year course. It really looks at your ability to research and find current areas where there are problems. I'll outline a few for you here. But basically it comes down to criticisms of position descriptions and job specifications, as they can be considered by some to be inefficient and not effective when recruiting. Some criticisms of job analysis include that the updating of these documents is a timely process. Too much emphasis is placed on activities and not enough emphasis is placed on how they work in teams. Group position descriptions may be a solution. A changing structure of jobs is frequent and necessary, and it's sometimes hard to keep the paperwork up to date with that. Other criticisms are that it's complex and time consuming. So trends in job analysis, outcomes over process are favoured. A lot of job analysis is being incorporated into employee contracts and EBAs. More stringent laws covering termination have been developed in the last few years, particularly for organisations over 15 employees. Software and the use of that software is important. Fragmenting of pay can be an issue. Efficiency over bureaucracy is very important to achieve that competitive advantage of HR. Flatter organisational structures are generally the trend, and emphasis on project and teamwork. We're finding more that people are working in teams with other areas, other people with other skill levels, and in some cases you will have to be a team builder rather than just a team player. Technology and change is impacting on the way that roles are performed. Multiple reporting relationships are becoming more frequent. There's values and goals that need to be communicated, and that's changing a lot of person specifications and job and position descriptions, and devolving a lot of HRM activities to frontline managers is occurring. So these are trends in what's happening in the workplace at the moment. And to sum it all up, there's basically a knowledge management focus. They're wanting people to have management skills, and a lot of that information and a lot of that task of management of outcomes is being devolved and pushed down the line, so that there is a bit of a knowledge gap in some organisations about how to effectively manage people. So trends in job design, it means that it's going the way much the same of job analysis, where enterprise bargaining and awards, modern awards, are becoming more frequently used, and industrial agreements are basically on the decline. There's increasing work hours, communication is a challenge, and there are more systems and more software that's assisting people in this area. And globalization has a natural impact on the trends in job design. So competency profiling. Competency can be described as an underlying characteristic that results in effective and superior performance on the job. Competency profiling involves determining the unique set of competencies associated with effective performance in a particular organization. It's used to determine if potential employees appear to have the desired characteristics and demonstrated behaviours for the position. And competency profiling is growing in its use in the workplace by HR managers. So it's very important to be across the 20 pages that you have to read for this week. Particularly look at the examples of the position description provided in the textbook. Make sure that you are researching and developing that critical analysis for your PowerPoint presentation and for the portfolio coming up. If you've got any questions, please post them on the forum or send an email. I am available by phone also, and those details are provided on the Moodle site. Have a great week.